Nikola Tesla. For ages, this idea has been proclaimed in the consummately wise teachings of religion, probably not alone as a means of ensuring peace and harmony among men, but as a deeply founded truth. The Buddhist expresses it in one way, the Christian in another, but both say the same: we are all one. Invention is the most important product of man's creative brain. The ultimate purpose is the complete mastery of mind over the material world, the harnessing of human nature to human needs. Man, like the universe, is a machine. Nothing enters our minds or determines our actions, which is not directly or indirectly a response to stimuli beating upon our sense organs from without. I am unwilling to accord to some small-minded and jealous individuals the satisfaction of having thwarted my efforts. These men are to me nothing more than microbes of a nasty disease. My project was retarded by laws of nature. The world was not prepared for it. It was too far ahead of time, but the same laws will prevail in the end and make it a triumphal success. This work somehow awakened my dormant powers of will, and I began to practice self-control. At first, my resolutions faded like snow in April, but in a little while I conquered my weakness and felt a pleasure I never knew before, that of doing as I willed. I do not rush into actual work. When I get a new idea, I start at once building it up in my imagination and make improvements and operate the device in my mind. When I have gone so far as to embody everything in my invention, every possible improvement I can think of, and when I see no fault anywhere, I put into concrete form the final product of my brain. If we use our fuel to get our power, we are living on our capital and exhausting it rapidly. This method is barbarous and wantonly wasteful, and will have to be stopped in the interest of coming generations. The heat of the sun's rays represents an immense amount of energy vastly in excess of water power. The sun's energy controlled to create lakes and rivers for motive purposes and transformation of arid deserts into fertile land. But instinct is something which transcends knowledge. We have, undoubtedly, certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction, or any other willful effort of the brain, is futile. Religion is simply an ideal. It is an ideal force that tends to free the human being from material bonds. I do not believe that matter and energy are interchangeable, any more than are the body and soul. There is just so much matter in the universe, and it cannot be destroyed. As I see life on this planet, there is no individuality. It may sound ridiculous to say so, but I believe each person is but a wave passing through space, ever changing from minute to minute as it travels along finally, someday just becoming dissolved. The Buddhist expresses it in one way, the Christian in another, but both say the same: we are all one. The desire that guides me in all I do is the desire to harness the forces of nature to the service of mankind. I do not think you can name many great inventions that have been made by married men. I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfolding to success. Such emotions make a man forget food, sleep, friends, love, everything. Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities and can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other of the common fuels. No free energy device will ever be allowed to reach the market. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation, and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. It's not the love you make, it's the love you give. That is the trouble with many inventors. They lack patience. They lack the willingness to work a thing out slowly and clearly and sharply in their mind, so that they can actually feel it work. They want to try their first idea right off, and the result is they use up lots of money and lots of good material, only to find eventually that they are working in the wrong direction. We all make mistakes, and it is better to make them before we begin. Of all the frictional resistances, the one that most retards human movement is ignorance. Everyone should consider his body as a priceless gift from one whom he loves above all, a marvelous work of art, of indescribable beauty, and mystery beyond human conception, and so delicate that a word, a breath, a look, nay, a thought may injure it. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment. Throughout the infinite, the forces are in a perfect balance, and hence the energy of a single thought may determine the motion of a universe. My wireless transmitter does not use Hertzian waves, which are a grievous myth, but sound waves in the ether. The opinion of the world does not affect me. I have placed as the real values in my life what follows when I am dead. When wireless is fully applied, the earth will be converted into a huge brain, capable of response in every one of its parts. Our entire biological system, the brain, and the earth itself work on the same frequencies. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Science is but a perversion of itself, unless it has as its ultimate goal the betterment of humanity. The scientists from Franklin to Morse were clear thinkers and did not produce erroneous theories. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation, and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. It is paradoxical, yet true, to say that the more we know, the more ignorant we become in the absolute sense, for it is only through enlightenment that we become conscious of our limitations. Precisely one of the most gratifying results of intellectual evolution is the continuous opening up of new and greater prospects. Though free to think and act, we are held together, like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable. These ties cannot be seen, but we can feel them. The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. Originality thrives in seclusion free of outside influences beating upon us to cripple the creative mind. Be alone, that is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. Of all the frictional resistances, the one that most retards human movement is ignorance, what Buddha called the greatest evil in the world. The friction which results from ignorance can be reduced only by the spread of knowledge and the unification of the heterogeneous elements of humanity. No effort could be better spent. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. I could only achieve success in my life through self-discipline, and I applied it until my wish and my will became one. To know each other, we must reach beyond the sphere of our sense perceptions. What we now want is closer contact and better understanding between individuals and communities all over the earth, and the elimination of egoism and pride, which is always prone to plunge the world into primeval barbarism and strife. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment. In a crystal, we have clear evidence of the existence of a formative life principle, and though we cannot understand the life of a crystal, it is nonetheless a living being. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. My mother had taught me to seek all truth in the Bible. Einstein's relativity work is a magnificent mathematical garb which fascinates, dazzles, and makes people blind to the underlying errors. The theory is like a beggar clothed in purple whom ignorant people take for a king. Its exponents are brilliant men, but they are metaphysicists rather than scientists. It will soon be possible to transmit wireless messages around the world, so simply that any individual can carry and operate his own apparatus. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know that it exists. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. Alpha waves in the human brain are between 6 and 8 Hz. The wave frequency of the human cavity resonates between 6 and 8 Hz. All biological systems operate in the same frequency range. The human brain's alpha waves function in this range, and the electrical resonance of the Earth is between 6 and 8 Hz. Thus, our entire biological system, the brain and the Earth itself, work on the same frequencies. If we can control that resonate system electronically, we can directly control the entire mental system of humankind. Antisocial behavior is a trait of intelligence in a world full of conformists. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
This was released from For the Sake of Education by Flow Wisdom. If the content was helpful, make sure to subscribe.